So what would really put the cycle broken Bitcoin shocker to bed is if we do close above 93.6. 93.6 is what it is. Let's take a look at the daily here. Now, in order to be hyper bullish, let's see if we were to break out of this channel today. Let's say we had one of the 12 days a year that we live for. The other 344 days of the year are complete pain. Utter pain and disappointment. Those 12 days are what it's all about. And that would take us to 93.8. That would, okay, so that makes sense. And Lord love a duck if we didn't do just that. It wasn't the daily candle. It was off by, the day, I suppose. But then look at this wick. Just ting, 93.9 over by 100. Now, it seems we're having a nosedive of rejection down. I think the last time I looked, like 1 minute ago, it was 93. And now we've just dropped 1K. It's like, is pianomattyb about to stream? Yeah? Okay. Dump it for him. Dump it. Like it matters. It's $1,000 and we're under 100K. So what does it really mean? Now you can see it's dumping to the 23.6% fib, which we have some action here on. This is the daily chart, but that's a nice bullish engulfing candle right there. And then we opened up and continued up. That's bullish, but we still really haven't broken out of what is a bear flag, right? It's a pretty steep bear flag, mind you. However, if I was going to keep my peepers on anything today, besides the bull market rejection zone up here at the 38.2% fib at 97.8-ish, it would be breaking out of this channel of ascension, which generally we do break out of, and it's also the bear flag, right? So that's at 88.7. I'm here, 88.7. Just to keep your papers on it, just to keep your papers on it. We don't want to break down. We have broken out twice of this, leaving some legendary wicks, some long hair, don't care wicks. And then we fought our way back up. Even yesterday, we were underneath it. Yes, it's hard to believe that yesterday we were at 83. So it was a $10,000 day. Did it get anybody excited? No, It's like wake me up at 127 place. That's where we are right now. But this is textbook rejection from this arbitrary doodle. Let's check out the 4-hour chart just to see the real carnage here. Yeah, we got rejected by this 4-hour channel of ascension. Support now acting as resistance. That's where it was. The funny thing is about this, this is on Brave browser, right? And I made the mistake of upgrading the system because I had to download the new version of DaVinci, and it would only do it on the new thing. That's where they got me. Normally, I would just be I'm the stalwart. I'll hang out forever. I'll hold out forever because there's always something wrong. Sure enough, I said yesterday couldn't sign in, but not today. I go on to Brave and nothing works. Like the mouse doesn't work, so I had to force quit it. And so now it's finally working. That's why I was 2 minutes late. Anyway, if we were to a normal running market without any bullish fundies, any dad rules coming into play today, we would expect a retest of these oscillators. So these are the mean reversion zones, right? The 50 and the 20 moving average. We generally go up and we go under, up and under. And as long as they're in an upward trend, like they slightly are. Yeah, the 20 moving average did bend down, careen over. Now it'll probably, if we have another good day today, we'll probably see this 20 moving average cross bullish over the 50. And maybe we will get into this channel of ascension. Now, where I would think our next move would be is, do I have a bullseye? Do I have anything like a bullseye that I could put up here? Can I draw it in? There's those, maybe a heart. Eyes. Yeah, eyes. Come on. Let's do some eyes. Where are the eyes? Why can't I type it in? Eyes. So they come so far, but yet, yeah, you can't write in your own thing. How about previously used dummies? There it is. There. 200 moving average. That's where the next bullish headwind would come on. Like, that's after, a day of some fundamentals that kind of stoke the market. And that would be at around 96.2-ish, which is also getting 6.2-ish, which is also getting pretty close to the bull market rejection zone of 98.3. Is that it? So this would be a dicey, I would be a little bit more worried, because the one thing I don't want to see is getting rejected from that zone. I want to blast through it, because we've gone over this many times, but bull markets get rejected at the 38.2% level after a massive downturn, which we've had over 30%. We have a relief rally, which we are in the throes of a relief rally, and we get rejected at 98.3. Where is that on this? Oh yeah, so you can see the old peepers. That is exactly 98.3. Yeah, so it'd be $2,000 from there. MJS 1374. I appreciate you tuning in, but don't shill clash, because that's going to ruin everyone. Those things ruin everybody. Now it's your choice. If I do appreciate you tuning in, but don't shill, especially game coins and stuff like that. Nobody here really does it anyway, so you're preaching to a deaf choir when it comes to those things. But I've seen you around. I do appreciate you tuning in. However, we don't really do that here. Now, if we can see that wick went right down to these candle closes, 91.8. And first step would be, let's draw on some doodles here, so we know what we're talking about, right? Where's that doodle? Brush. Yeah, you got to hold it there, and then ride the support, and then maybe break up and do a little "How's your uncle?" right there. And that will be on the 24/7 stream in case we want to watch it in real time. Now, the downward action of that would be to retest the 20 moving average and the 50 moving average down, below 90. 90K is that, that psychological level. And, once we break it, we're looking at 88K, and 90K is the hope. It's like driving through Hopesville. Please hold 90K. And if she does, we'll probably get a bounce. But that's normal market behavior. Up, revert, up, revert, up, revert, unless it's one of those 12 days of the year where we get those bullish oompapas. Now, over on the weekly, that was our first, think about this. This is pretty crazy, because it is the fourth quarter, post-halving year, and we just went through arguably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down red weeks. Save for this one here, which was in October 20th. That was the only one. It's just been down. Look at this. I get rid of this. That was a bad omen. It was a bad omen, really. And are we following this little doodle? Well, one might say kind of. It's we're not following it. In fact, right now we're just kind of holding on to it like this. Pop over, throw the wicks over these sacrificial wicks, sacrifice them over, and now we're here. This is a nice little hammer candle. If we can get into the weekend with a little more bullish prowess, maybe Trump has some dad rules that come in, and we continue to pump, this would, resemble what some legacy analysts would call a bottom or a reversal zone. Now, we don't want to break out. We don't want to close at 85,150 at the end of this week, right? Outside of this epic bear flag. So if we close the candle and continue our way up to the bull market rejection zone, See, once we're on the weekly, you can see how close this actually is. And it makes more sense on the weekly because we can be on the 4-hour chart and get over 98.3. We can be on the daily chart and get over 98.3, but it's really the close of the weekly. That's where the dad rules come in. You know, the 4-hour chart and the daily chart, they're running around the house. You know, they're making a mess. You know, they're not eating their veggies. They're eating the garbage food, sneaking the crackers from the thing. But the weekly is like when dad comes home, it's like close or open. And that's when we really get the market direction, whether we can close 98.3 on it. Let's hope so. That'll be pretty bullish. Pretty bullish. Did that? Oh, no. See, this is the 12-month chart we were talking about yesterday. The shocker video. We're almost correcting the universe with the Kit Kat rather than the 2 in the green, 1 in the red, right? We don't want to see that. Although it'd be interesting to see it because it'd be the second deviation from, the broken cycle. First being the all-time high before the halving. Second being the 3 green, 1 red scenario. That would be, what we would want to see. We don't want to see 2 in the green, 1 in the red, plus the all-time high before, not the all-time high, but the new high before the halving. That's 2 weird little sticks in the spoke that's sending the market over the handlebars and knocking out their 2 front teeth. And they have to go to school without teeth because their parents don't have any dental insurance. Up here in Kanadistan, we have the illusion of free healthcare, as long as you can wait, 24 hours for your thing. But we don't have dental. Dental, you're on the hook. You're on the hook for whatever it is. Unless you have a sweet government job, you're covered. Right? But out here in the real world, the pianomattyb world, there's no insurance. There's no nets. So when and if there's some dental problems, got to know somebody, or you got to pay through the teeth. See, don't even have the piano on there. It's not working with me. Where's my sidekick? See how I tied that in? Pun intended. Pay through the teeth. 22, fear and greed. It's amazing that we're still in fear. Yesterday we were in extreme fear. Last month we spent it basically in fear. This is bizarre. This is one of the most bizarre aspects of this bull run. How we can be so high and in extreme fear. But it does make sense when you think of the fear changes. It mutates into, is the movie over? Are the fireworks over? I don't want the fireworks to be over. That's the type of fear we are in. Look at this volume. This is low volume with the ETFs. I take this as a bad sign. B, not C. It tells me that the market is not really an indecision. It's in meh when it comes to the clients buying. Now we haven't had yesterday's populate yet. That was a Vanguard, the 1 billion in 30 minutes. I don't know how much I believe that. I almost think if I were to get conspiratorial, I would think that they're fellow shareholders, because they're all incestuous. Vanguard has State Street and BlackRock and all vice versa. I would almost think that they, like when a business owner opens another business, all his business owner friends come and kind of pump their tires. I kind of think that that's what's happening, rather than a bunch of old boomer retail Vanguard just waiting. When are you going to allow me exposure to Bitcoin? I've been waiting here while the market takes off, and I don't, that's just the way my mind thinks. Can you buy insurance? Yeah, you can buy insurance. But I kind of live my life where insurance is more or less a little bit of a scam. I have insurance adjuster friends, and their job is to find the loopholes that you no longer qualify for insurance. It's a real heartless, soulless industry, unless it's cut and dry. Like we're talking, We're talking like lightning struck, and you have video of the lightning. See, the lightning struck my house and that caused the fire. Yeah, well, were you doing anything in the house that would attract the lightning? We gotta. Are you sure? Were you doing anything with your hair and blankets to make the static thing? Because if you were, you're void. House insurance or void. You basically asked the lightning to come visit you. Void, 0. Dental, yeah, you can get dental insurance. But I've gone to the dentist. I know some dentists. Listen, nothing's free. I would go to my dental work was I always chipped my front tooth, and I'd always fix it, but it would always break. So it was like, am I really getting any value from this free? It wasn't really free. I'd give him a bottle of Crown Royal because he's a Crown Royal drinker. I don't mind doing that, but at the same time, I don't want to go back with 4 bottles of Crown Royal just for a chipped tooth that never fixed. And now he retired, and so I don't have it, and the teeth are chipping, on a daily basis because his work was kind of shoddy, I suppose. So the next step is to, I guess, permanently fix it, however that is. Jimmy Coco, I call mine unsurance because I'm unsure if I will be covered. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it doesn't give you a lot of faith in the system when something happens, you cross your fingers and hope that the insurance comes through. That's not like a healthy, because all these companies, these insurance companies, they're just investment firms. They just take your monthly nut and rehypothecate it into investments. That's what they really do. That's what most companies. That's why I find it funny with the strategy thing. Everyone's like, "What kind of business model is that?" Well, it's every business's business model, really. Every profitable business model takes their profits and either reinvests in the company or outside the company with holdings. That's just what they do. Yeah, but we don't like that. Although we're going to do it. Yeah, we don't like them doing it, but we're going to do it, and then we're going to like it. Johnny December, we don't do insurance in Belize. It costs $25 USD to go to a doctor, and 100 milligrams of Valium are $50 US. Yeah, I would say if you were to get your teeth cleaned in Winnipeg, and dose you with fluoride. Remember those things you'd stick in your mouth and you. Those things. That was about the best impersonation I've done on something in a long time. I think that's like $150. Not that I'd do that, right? But we'll see. We'll see. I think the next stop, $20 teeth cleaning in Belize. Every time you start talking about Belize, I end up wondering, what the hell am I doing in Canada? It's this failed state. It's one of those questions that sometimes when you think back in history, why did certain people stay where they were? And I think generally, as long as the water isn't boiling too hot, you're kind of stuck in the infrastructure, especially with child, right? If I could just get up and go. One of the reasons why I was hoping Bitcoin would go a little, not that I have any Bitcoin, was that it would have maybe allowed me to move somewhere else, maybe El Salvador. These Bitcoin fantasies. But without any bigger moves, you might be stuck in old Canadistan. But I was talking with Kyle on the weekend because he has like an old-fashioned job. He's like the manager of a department for a clothing company. And we were talking about AI. And I'm like, here's the good news, Kyle. The good news is when AI kind of eradicates your job, and everyone thinks, no, they'll never take my job. It's like, yeah, all jobs, even this job, like this YouTuber, it'll be gone too, because it's getting so wild. It's crazy. Now, I dipped my feet in the AI pool this year. See if could I create content with it? Is it worth it? Right now, it's not worth it, but it will be. I mean, you take a look at a lot of the thumbnails I make. That's just with Grok, right? It's me. Then I put it into Grok, and they'll give me variations of facial expressions. So it's better than me. The first time I started doing thumbnails for BitBoy back in the day, I would have to sit there in the camera and make all these stupid faces, and all of them were shitty, right? I had to take the best of the worst and then cut them out, myself with the little lasso, because that's where the technology was. Now the technology is I can go on DaVinci, click Magic Mask, boom, and it's transparent, right? And then put it into Grok, and it'll give me a little better, and it'll increase the quality of it. Anyway, that is a step that will never go back, right? So we're there with the thumbnail aspect. Now with content, I believe what's going to happen is that you're just going to, plug it in, and then it's going to have you talking because it knows you better than you know. It knows me better than I know me. And then it'll populate the background with all that, B-roll footage that you ever need. And at that point, the only thing that'll be left is maybe, the piano bar. Because the AI agents that are coming too, like that's so back to Kyle's story. Sorry, I got off topic here. It's like the good news is, Kyle, when you're done at that job, we can start a piano bar down in like Belize or Mexico or some hotspot, because there'll be nothing holding. Like for instance, if and when I'm offered a partnership in a piano bar in some southern country, one of the reasons why I wouldn't be able to take it is that I couldn't really do it without Kyle. Our show is our show. So I would have to wait for AI to destroy Kyle. And then it'll be like, are you ready to go, Kyle? He's like, I guess so. We'll go. And maybe at that time, the house he owns will be rehypothecated by the indigenous people, because, he doesn't own it. He doesn't own anything. He has beneficial exposure to the real estate, but the land, right? Everyone's been sitting here for the past 5 years documenting their admission to stolen land, and every hockey game, every ball, right? So it's all on tape, everyone. It's a brilliant plan that is just executed. There's no, no, I own it. It's like, well, no, here you're saying that it was stolen. We have you on video 1,000 times, and that's what'll happen. So yes, conquered, not stolen. That's right. Stolen from who? Who did they steal it from? It's getting pretty rage. Canada. So like, I see videos in the States about immigration and stuff, and the liberals trying to explain it, and they can't really. My favorites are when they say, "Okay, well, would you be willing to take in one?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah." But you see, I have spina bifida, so it makes it that you see for guests in my house. Once they start backpedaling on it when it hits them, because everything's a good idea until you have to be a part of that good idea. We have it with what is it called? Something about residential schools. They claim that there's thousands of dead bodies there, and they've never, they just need to bring one up. Really, I see both sides, because it's such a contentious, emotional roller coaster for the people on one side. Because remember what I say, once you bring children in, that's the biggest red flag, right? So let's say the residential schools were military-aged men, indigenous. People would be like, well, they're men, and they were fighting. And but once you put it into children, they're like, oh, wait a second, red line, right? And then it becomes this, they're on an emotional hill. And then you have everyone else that are like, well, that's horrible. And that's a complete tragedy. If it happened, I would really like to close the case and like show the bodies and dig them up. And they're not going to do that. So it's like, it's an easy way to dispel everything and to close the case is to just, do what they say. They have millions, almost hundreds of millions of dollars to do this, and it's just evaporated. Where'd it go? John Travolta. Anyway, it's contentious. And so if I have 4 people from Canada watching, the 2 of them might be like, fuck you, Matty B, unsubbed. But that's the risk you take, speaking your mind. I didn't always speak my mind. And I'm sure, I disappointed some people speaking my mind. But, you got to be true to your natural. When you do live streams, you can't really censor yourself because the flow stops, right? The flow stops. And that's how it works. Scotty Mo, good morning, buddy. Now, let's see. There was a video that I wanted to check out. Oh, yeah, this one. Have a listen.
Problem with a lobby that says governments should hold this asset or hold.
Now, before I go through this, because my setup's different, could you hear that? Give me a thumbs up or yes, I can hear that.
Hold that asset without what the strategic intent of government is. Because you see, there is a history to gold. There was once a gold standard. Currencies were pegged to gold. But if we now say that, okay, Bitcoins, okay, what about platinum? What
about platinum?
About coal? Why don't we hold strategic beef reserves or mutton reserves?
I'm not going to interrupt anymore, but this is the prime candidate for close to the money printer. It's like, let's say I appreciate the money printer. Why we go hard asset? I like the money printer. I benefit from money printer. My peoples, they die, but I benefit.
Or Apple reserves. Why Bitcoin? So it's a public
Look at him laughing in
policy
there.
issue that we have got to be engaged in. And
how dare they have a white man on
I
this
would
board?
caution against the move then that would say there is an industry with a particular interest in a particular product, and we would like to impose it on society and say society must hold this as a reserve. I would have a fundamental problem with it.
So why Bitcoin reserve and not beef reserves and mutton reserves? Anyone wants to comment on that?
Let's cook, Coinbase. Let's cook.
Well, I think that if you like Neil Ferguson is here, he has a great book on the ascent of money, and he's a historian, and so many things have been used as money over the years. I think it's pretty. This is still maybe a new idea, but I think it's clear at this point that Bitcoin is a better form of money than gold. It is provably scarce, just like gold, but it's more portable and divisible, so you can actually use. It has higher utility, I would say. And it was the best performing asset of the last 10 years. And so...
but what about platinum?
For store of value, I think it's going to be important for governments to hold this over time. It might start with being 1% of their reserves, but I think over time it'll come to be equal to or greater than gold reserves.
Okay, great. Well, let's...
Okay, great. But who cares what you say is? This is the dumb white man from America. What does that even matter? We'll leave you with this because this reminds me of me on Sunday dinners.
Contribute nothing, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go,
He's
come
cooking.
on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. They came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Have you ever wondered what dinner is like with Pianomattyb? It kind of sounds like
Make
that.
sure you like and subscribe and share this